Not too bad. Getting there. Living the dream. These are three go-to responses that I use when I don't really want to talk about how I feel. But if somebody hadn't have asked me twice how I was actually doing, I wouldn't have got the help and support that I really needed to do this job. It sounds a bit cliche, but we do need to talk about our problems, because if we keep it all bottled up, it doesn't help us serve our community if we can't look after ourselves first.
There's nothing wrong with asking somebody how they are twice. We've all seen a colleague that we're maybe concerned about. How are you? No, come on. How are you? Ask twice.
Policing's a really tough job and has never been tougher. So when one of your colleagues says they're okay, are they really? Please ask twice, check on them, and let's help each other.
Policing is one of the most challenging careers. Trauma exposure on top of day-to-day life is having a significant impact on officers. I spent many years supporting officers dealing with mental illness, but could we all do more? When you ask someone, how are you? Dig that little bit deeper and ask, really, how are you? You can make a difference by supporting this campaign. #AskTwice.
Officers will attend over 450 traumatic incidents within their career, many of them leaving long-lasting effects on their emotional, psychological, and physical well-being. With fewer spaces to debrief incidents, to speak safely about how we're feeling, now more than ever, it's important that we check in on one another and ask that question, how are you? No, really, how are you? This campaign brings in all those skills and abilities that we've picked up throughout our career to listen, to empathise, to not just stand in someone's shoes, but to sweat in them too. Asking twice could literally save someone's life.
Not too bad. Getting there. Living the dream. These are three go-to responses that I use when I don't really want to talk about how I feel. But if somebody hadn't have asked me twice how I was actually doing, I wouldn't have got the help and support that I really needed to do this job. It sounds a bit cliche, but we do need to talk about our problems, because if we keep it all bottled up, it doesn't help us serve our community if we can't look after ourselves first.
There's nothing wrong with asking somebody how they are twice. We've all seen a colleague that we're maybe concerned about. How are you? No, come on. How are you? Ask twice.
Policing's a really tough job and has never been tougher. So when one of your colleagues says they're okay, are they really? Please ask twice, check on them, and let's help each other.
Policing is one of the most challenging careers. Trauma exposure on top of day-to-day life is having a significant impact on officers. I've spent many years supporting officers dealing with mental illness, but could we all do more? When you ask someone, how are you? Dig that little bit deeper and ask, really, how are you? You can make a difference by supporting this campaign. #AskTwice.
Officers will attend over 450 traumatic incidents within their career, many of them leaving long-lasting effects on their emotional, psychological, and physical well-being. With fewer spaces to debrief incidents, to speak safely about how we're feeling. Now more than ever, it's important that we check in on one another and ask that question, how are you? No, really, how are you? This campaign brings in all those skills and abilities that we've picked up throughout our career to listen, to empathise, to not just stand in someone's shoes, but to sweat in them too. Asking twice could literally save someone's life.
Hello, very warm welcome to you and thank you for joining us. I'm Paul Williams, National Board Member for your VW and the Wellbeing Lead, the National Wellbeing. And with me today is
Hayley. I'm sure you'll never forget that name. I'm also the co-lead with Paul, and we're really glad that you've managed to join us today. Hope you're comfy. As you can see, I'm sitting here with my cushion and my cuppa, and we hope you are too. We've got some real good stuff for you to listen into and hopefully take some really good takeaways. What we got today?
Well, firstly, we're launching the Ask Twice campaign and the timing is boss. As we all know, it's National Mental Health Week, and we wanted to use this time purposefully to launch this campaign. And the campaign that we're launching, obviously named Ask Twice, has a meaning. We want to have a meaning, but we want to give it something tangible. So the meaning Ask Twice, as you've seen on the prelude to opening, is that asking someone if they're okay is almost a greeting now, isn't it? You ask someone if it's all right. Are you all right? Yes, I'm all right. And you? Yes. Then we carry on with our daily business. It's now considered a greeting, but we need to dig deeper. We've got a responsibility to ourselves and each other. And what we want to do is dig deep, ask someone, no, really, are you okay? And this could be the difference between somebody's career, somebody's well-being as a whole, and somebody's life.
Yeah.
And we need to try and extract that information from people to make sure that the well-being is looked after, but also use what we've got from launching this campaign and use the information that we can present to you as something, as a toolbox for you to use to actually help somebody if they come forward and actually say, actually, no, I'm not all right, and then open up to you. And when they do that, then we need to be prepared to help them and do what we need to do. But we've spent a lot of time, we've spent quite some months preparing this campaign, and I know you've done an awful lot of work in the background helping, so I'll let you explain some of the content of it.
Oh, thanks, Paul. So I really hope what you'll begin to see as this campaign grows, and today is the launch. What we wanted to do is, when you have asked twice and you do get that answer and you do look to sit down with somebody and listen to what they've got to tell you, that you know what to do next. So for the first time ever, I think, in policing, what we've done is we've gathered up every resource we can find that's out there, and we've put them in one central location on our website. So as you can see, I hope the pull down screen that's next to us will have some of the materials that will go out. We'll have the hashtag and we'll have the QR code, so that you can actually go onto the QR code and take it straight to our website, and then you can actually peruse the options of different third-party suppliers, whether that's Mind, whether that's Oscar Kilo, whether it's something bespoke to Federation branches, that might be a resource that you can utilise. And we hope to keep building that with case stories, with information, with, inspirational things that might just benefit somebody that you're talking to, or even you yourself. Because like we say, it might be that difference of that question, which is great, but you've got to know what to do with it when you actually then listen to that individual and they kind of share their thoughts and feelings with you. So that's the idea behind it. And I hope this is going to launch today and we're going to get that message out to everybody. But yeah, and I think we've got some really good starters for that today that will also join the site, and the tools of this will also join the site. So who have we got with us today, Paul?
We have Mel Lynch, who has got vast experience as a physical training instructor in the British Armed Forces, and she's going to discuss movement and mental health. And as we know, there's a lot of there's 4 pillars, isn't there, to our mental health, to our wellbeing campaign. It's your mental health, general health, physical and financial, and every one of those has an impact on your mental health. So when we're discussing physical exercise, the physical exercise itself is not only good for your body, it's also good for your mind, and it stimulates your mind, it releases those endorphins, and it makes you feel better. And as we all know, when we're a lot of office workers, when we sit stagnant in the office doing a lot of paperwork, when we're time bound, we're rushing to get things done, and sometimes we don't take a break, and we're not looking after ourselves, and we're not looking after the people next to us as well. And what we're going to try and do is try and give some advice and give some tool to introduce movement and introduce a bit of exercise, make us feel better physically and mentally. And this today really is just a kickstart. We've got an ongoing campaign, and we hope it's going to last quite some time. And we're going to cover all of these areas in the future, but today is the initial kickstart as to what we really want to set off and to launch this campaign and get people educated as to how we're going to look after each other.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And we're looking to bring Mel in a second. And Mel has got such vast experience of this and everything that is so linked with the police, because her experience remains with the armed services and with the army. And she'll tell you a little bit more about that herself. So without further ado, I'll just go over to Mel. If we can have Mel on screen. Welcome, Mel. Lovely to have you today.
Good morning, all. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, it's brilliant to have you. I mean, to be honest, I'm really excited by what you're going to go through with us today. And I do really hope that when we sit through it and we start seeing the different tools and the things that you've got, that as many of you out there start getting involved. There's nothing to stop you actually doing it while you're sitting there on the Teams call. So I'm going to say no more, because I don't want to steal your thunder. Mel, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then you carry on with what you've got to show us.
Thank you very much, Hayley. Appreciate that. Hi, guys. I'm Mel Lynch. I've just served 24 years in the Army. as a physical training instructor, mainly at training establishments. After that, I've done a couple of tours for an exclusive client working in Saudi Arabia, teaching physical training and other subjects as well. And now I am currently working for the RAF, slightly different, and working in a slightly different industry. So yeah, and hopefully what I can give you today is just something just a little bit different to what's out there as well.
Brilliant. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Mel. And we are sitting here ready to join in. So you crack on.
Perfect. Just a second. Can you all see that screen?
I think so. I think we're good.
We're good? No.
Lovely.
Just a second, everybody. Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely. So just before we do start, as you can see on the screen, you can see a 24-hour clock displayed. And I just want to sow the seed of how much we are sedentary. We often don't think about that. How many hours do we sleep? Once we get up in the morning, we drive into work. That's also being sedentary, even on our commute. When we get to work, we sit down at our desk. How often are we sitting down? Once we finish work, do we go straight home? And are we exhausted from work? Do we go and take a sofa and sit on there for a few hours, and then we go back to bed? So have a quick look at that and just see for yourself, out of that 24-hour clock, how much of that are we sedentary? And how much of that are we doing activities? Those other activities can be, shopping, going to the gym, hobbies, walking the dog, cooking, cleaning, etc. So have a quick look at that. You can have a look at it obviously later on after this presentation as well, and actually just draw a line with the 24-hour clock on afterwards as a small exercise, just so you can see for yourself. It's actually quite a hard-hitting home tool that you can actually do.
Mel, is it the second slide that we should be looking at now, or are we still on the first? Just checking in to make sure it's moving on for you.
I'm on the.
It was that one with the long timeline.
I'm on AIM at the moment. Are you guys on AIM?
No, we're still on that opening slide that's balance, fitness, and work life with the
right, okay,
rather fetching man that's looking cool in his suit and then his workout gear.
Just a second. Have you got it now?
Not come up yet. Do you know, it's always technology, isn't it, with these things? It's always so hard to suss out.
It worked yesterday.
Don't stress it yourself, doesn't it?
Have a look.
I mean, I have to say, it's quite a fetching slide. I quite like it. I'm visualising all the things I can think of people I know that look like that, to be honest. Try launching it again. You never know, that might work. That might do the trick. And I hope everyone's out there sitting comfortably, because I think the fact that we're going to be able to get involved with this as we're doing it means that you might tick the box and not be as, I never say the word sedentary, it never comes out right.
How's that? Can you see that?
Brilliant, we're on, that's it.
There we go. Okay, perfect. So that's the 24-hour clock that I was just talking about. Again, just draw a line on a piece of paper when you've got a couple of minutes and just see for yourself, where you're at, on that line, and how much are you doing nothing at all and chilling and relaxing and sleeping, to actually how much activity that you're doing. Again, it will become a little bit apparent as we get further along the presentation. So the aim of the session then is for you to have an understanding of the benefits of exercise and stay fit and healthy whilst in an office environment or working remotely from home. Now, I appreciate there'll be a lot of you out there that are trained athletes, within your own rights. You'll have your own hobbies, you'll have your own sport and things like that. what I'm trying to do here now is maybe target some other individuals out there that potentially could do with a little bit of inspiration, something a little bit different. There is so much out there. There is so much on social media. There's so many people doing different activities, whether it be Pilates, whether it be yoga, whether it be boxercise, whether it be weight training, whether it be wall Pilates. There's so much out there on social media, but I'm just trying to link in now with just something a little bit different to maybe you can think slightly to the left and right. First things we'll do then on the agenda is top 10 benefits of regular exercise. Now, I'm sure a lot of you will know all of these anyway, but if I can just remind you of them, then that would be great. And then exercises to perform whilst at your desk, and then we'll have a little confirmation. And if you guys want to have a little bit of a practical afterwards, then please feel free to do so. So the first things then is being active is shown to have many health benefits, both physically and mentally. And there's just 10 ways here that I'm just going to go through very quickly. So improve mood and reduce feeling of anxiety and depression. We all know, as Paul's just mentioned, about release of endorphins. When our body's moving, that we are releasing these endorphins, and it's the feel good. Other things that can make endorphins release: massaging, going for a walk, walking the dog, or just going for a walk for yourself, and having that feel good, and that will release that endorphins. It'll also help with weight loss. It builds and maintains strong muscles and bones. There's a few of you that may be experiencing some aches and pains, and certainly as we get older, I can speak for myself on that. As we're getting older, you know, people that are suffering with osteoporosis, brittle bones, potentially can have some benefit of this exercise and release from that.
And Mel, let me just say as well, honestly, to be honest, sometimes it's about having enough hours in the day. So we've got so much going on, haven't we? To be able to fit it all in, you then beat yourself up feeling guilty that you haven't managed to fit in that extra hour of activity. So that's always a key issue, isn't it?
It can be a vicious cycle. You know, you're at work and it's not a case of looking for the excuse. It's about what's got to give to make sure that you're fitting everything in with the time on the hours that you've got left. You know, people see it as an excuse. It generally isn't. It's generally the fact that something's got to give, and if it's for yourself, that you've got to give yourself and your own well-being, you know, give it up to fit the washing in, fit the kids, taking the children to their sporting activities, or fitting the cleaning done, getting the blue jobs and the pink jobs done at home, then, you know, then you'll forgo, you know, yourself. And what I always say, certainly to the recruits that I train, you know, if you could buy the car of your dreams, whatever it would be, you know, would you put cheap fuel in it? Would you put cheap oil in it? Would you not keep it maintained? Would you not take it for a service? You know, if you had a Lamborghini, would you never ever take it for a service? You know, you're worth more than any expensive car out there. You know, are we neglecting ourselves? You know, we need to be putting into us what we'd put into a car or whatever, you know, we value, whatever that may be. So yeah, it can be a vicious cycle.
And we are our own worst critiques, aren't we? I think we beat ourselves up more than anyone else will ever beat us up. So almost it's giving yourself a break and saying, this is the way I can do this without it having to take away so much time and effort, but I can tick all these boxes and make sure I'm still thinking about my body and exercise and getting the positive endorphins, but without making it a huge thing.
Absolutely, yeah. It's about being kind to yourself, you know, and learning to be better friends, you know, with your own body, you know, and I think that's key, you know, learning to be a friend with your own body, accepting that as well, and then that's a good starting block as well.
Excellent.
Okay, so it does help with skin health, improves blood flow, and helps the brain with memory as well. Help you sleep better. Some of you might be struggling with a little bit of sleep deprivation. And it will give you some more energy during the day. It can reduce chronic pain and increase pain tolerance, and socializing and meeting new people. Again, I'll discuss this in a little bit further as well. So exercise can seem like an impossible challenge. So when you're having a tough time, and certainly more so probably when you're having a tough time. When you're having a tough time, you know, as I said before, it can be a panic to get absolutely everything done and compile everything within the hours that you've got. What you then need to be looking on is building your confidence, giving yourself short-term goals, giving you that small goal of achievement, you know, which then in turn builds your confidence. You've hit that target, let's move on to the next target. As I said before, being kind to yourself. I think it's really important that you be kind to yourself. You know, you don't go down that guilty road of feeling, I didn't do that last night. I didn't go to circuits. I didn't go to the gym last night. I didn't do this for myself last night. It's okay, you know, and tell yourself it is okay. It's about creating habit and routine. As we've said before, you know, 28 days to create a habit and routine, 28 days to break one. You know, build yourself on that 28-day cycle if you can. And again, just learning to be better friends, you know, with your body and just being kind.
And Mel, we've had a lovely question come in the chat before you move on. And it says, how do we encourage employers to provide time and facilities so that employees can benefit from exercise? Well, I think what you're going to come on to answers that in part. But what we can also do, and I'm going to ask Claire, who's sitting behind the scenes and making the magic happen, to remind me of this. But what we'll come into at the end as well to answer that is tell you some things that we're seeing in forces that you might be able to replicate in other forces. So I've got Claire ticking that one, so I don't forget. I think you're going to answer that one in a moment for us.
I am, hopefully, you know, and as I say, if you can just take one thing from this, then for me, then that's great, you know, then I've achieved, you know, what I need to achieve, you know, and if it's a handful of people, then even better, then I've hit my target as well. So, you know, hopefully later on, as you can see, you know, if it's something that you can introduce, then great, you know, if it's not, then we can adapt and we can look into different things as well. I can also give you my details, and if anybody wants to, you know, contact me thereafter for further advice or information, then I'm happy to do so. So yeah. Again, try not to compare yourself with others. There's nothing worse than seeing on social media somebody standing there with hardly any clothes on, with a six-pack, fantastic body, fantastic image, you know. And you know, you then beat yourself up because you've forgone going to the gym, and then that vicious cycle, then back on that vicious cycle of beating yourself up. As I said, small goals. It's about hitting them small goals. It's about changing your habit and routine. Once your habit and routine can start getting into a pattern, then you're breaking that chain. And then everything tends to then fall back in place. Endorphins then start to release. If you're struggling and, you know, you haven't got any inspiration yourself, change who you do the activity with. You know, find somebody, you know, that could be interested in doing something with you, something slightly different, something off the wall. Who knows? It can be as crazy, you know, or it can be as simple as just going for a walk. That, ask twice, do you fancy a 10-minute walk around the block? You know, it's, you know, you're releasing that endorphin for that somebody. You know, shall we go for a chat? Shall we go for a walk? You know, you're hitting two things there. You're exercising, you're going out, you're releasing endorphins, but also you're being present for that individual as well.
And that's brilliant, because you've just literally answered one of the questions we've got in the chat about if someone doesn't like the gym and what else they can do. And that's awesome. You've just answered that, and it's straight away.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. You know, I've done 24 years within the industry, and I'm struggling myself to want to go back to the gym. You know, you do it for a long period of time. So, yeah, I understand that. I also understand looking at social media, you know, and seeing everybody maybe thinking, oh, maybe I should be there as well. Maybe I should be at that level now. Maybe I should still be doing this. Maybe I should still be doing that. I think these questions go through, you know, everybody's heads, if we're all honest. But again, it's being kind to yourself whilst being kind to others, and again, just, you know, being friends with your own body, you know, and start off small. And it can be something from, if you've lost the love of running, try a new music playlist, try a different playlist. You know, you're listening to the same songs when you go out for a run, you know, change it up. You know, download a new playlist. You know, change your route, go for a different route. You know, if it can get you back into that habit and routine. So what are the benefits of endorphins then? So endorphins have many benefits. Studies have shown that they can help in the following ways. Easing symptoms of depression. Endorphins released during exercise have been shown to help reduce the symptoms of depression. Helping with stress and anxiety. As endorphins levels increase, stress and anxieties have been shown to decrease. Improving self-image. Studies have shown that endorphins can increase levels of confidence, leading to better self-esteem. Contributing to weight loss, releasing endorphins has been shown to regulate your appetite and alleviating childbirth pain. Studies have shown higher levels of endorphins have helped with pain experienced during childbirth. Now, again, going back onto that circle, it all has a knock-on effect. So once you're releasing endorphins, you will then get that domino effect of what comes next. Whether it will be everything that I've just explained or said just now, or you'll feel it in certainly different ways, certainly all in positive ways. Just something that I've took off from the Mind website, just something there that hit home with me and resonated with me. I've always found that exercise is the one thing that gets me well again with depression. It is invaluable. It makes me feel great, just healthy and active. I don't feel as tired or lethargic when I exercise, and it makes me happy and content in myself. That in itself is a huge statement, but it's trying to get there. It's all very well, reading these statements. It's all very well seeing these statements. It's about getting to that stage. So the bottom line, exercise offers many benefits, and that's great, but it's how to get there that can improve nearly every aspect of your health from the inside out. So what are the symptoms of having low endorphins? Some people don't produce enough endorphins. Symptoms of endorphins deficiency include, so if you're not releasing endorphins, all right, whether it be due to exercise or your body's just not producing them or you're stressed, so these are some of the things, how it can affect you if you're not releasing endorphins in the body. Depression, anxiety, body aches and pains, addiction, and then sleep issues and impulsive actions. I hope that resonates with some of you, and some of you have experienced that, and then you can actually have an answer to why you're feeling that, and it could be one of the reasons why you're feeling some of these symptoms. Just before we move on to the next bit, is there any questions so far that anybody wants me to help out with?
We're asking everyone to put their questions in the chat, so hopefully they'll come through. I certainly just resonate with what you just said. If you think about it, and some of the officers that we represent and we try and support is when they're feeling absolutely at their lowest ebb, and even struggling to get out of bed in the morning is the hardest part in the first instance. And some people then can manage to get themselves into the workplace, and we often hear this scenario of people being just present, so literally being there but not being there, if that makes sense. And a lot of that is linked to anxiety, depression, and like you say, some of these issues that you've called out. And I think for me, it's like you say, yes, we'd all like to be at that level where we're all doing activity every day and releasing those endorphins. We all know what you're saying, don't we? We've heard it enough times. By the time we get to midlife, we know this stuff.
We all know that the gyms out there. We all know that there's running clubs out there. We all know, the programs that we should be following. We all know, what we should be doing for ourselves. We all know that there is a better life if we did this, if we did that. I think we need to have a better understanding that if we are turning up for work and we are just present, that's probably somebody's 100%. Because that's them maxing out just by getting out of bed, getting dressed and rolling in and rocking up and showing up. Us having an understanding, actually, their body is probably not producing any endorphins right now. They're probably flatlining, they're probably anxious, they're probably suffering with depression. They may be experiencing external factors, maybe internal factors, and it's about having that recognition that actually so easy to say, go to the gym, go and do this, go and raise your levels, For them, they're already maxing out. They're already, tipping up for work because they have to pay the bills.
Yeah.
you know, and it's about creating small habit and routines, and it's about breaking the chain. 28 days to make one, 28 days to break one, you know, and it's about having that light bulb moment, I think, as well, but in the same balance, just being kind to yourself as well.
Yeah,
I think as well, Mel, you can get yourself very frustrated as well if you're suffering from injury or illness and you have an active background. I mean, I have a fitness background and I've suffered injury before, which has laid me out for weeks, and I've been unable to run. And the frustration of not being able to release and get anything out can be really detrimental to your mental health. And it can make you angry, it can make you very frustrated, and it can interfere with the way you work. So it's really important to know how to deal with that. And that's where, you know, as you're probably going to come on to, is certain exercise or certain activities you can do to still continue to release those endorphins. Because when you're suffering and when potentially an officer on restricted duties is suffering, it might be a benefit to be able to exercise still and get them up and back to work as soon as possible.
I think, yeah, and you've said it right there, and I think it's about adapting and overcoming, you know, and if you can adapt something, you know, to what you can do, then adapt it. Why not? You know, if you can take a shortcut, I know, you know, we all love shortcuts. You know, if we can get to somewhere, you know, a little bit quicker, a little bit easier, then, you know, we're all buying in and we'll all take that path. I think it's about, you know, making sure that we have the knowledge. Knowledge is key, you know, and it's the gym is down the road, but it's actually, when you look at how many hours, you know, long gone are the 9-to-5 jobs. You know, some of us are doing 12-hour shifts. Some of us might be doing, you know, longer than that. When we get home, there's still work to be done. You're still prepping for the very next day. You know, the working hours don't, you know, start at 9 and finish at 5 anymore. You know, and it's about adapting, overcoming, and creating that habit and routine, most definitely. Okay, so there are plenty of exercises that you can perform at your desk to boost your heart rate. Now, I was given this presentation, and being a fitness instructor for 24 years, I was slightly annoyed at myself and thought, wow, why haven't I been using this? Why haven't I tapped into this? Why haven't I been giving this advice to others? Why haven't I even considered this or even looked at this? So I'm hoping, as I say, as Paul was saying, if you're injured, then jump on board. You know, if you're new to this, jump on board. You know, if you're intimidated by going to the gym, jump on board. You know, do it in your own space. Do it in your own time. We all, as I say, work at our desks. You know, we should all be having screen breaks again for the mind. That screen break shouldn't be 10 minutes off to go on your phone and look at a different screen. Utilize that 10 minutes. This is where habit and routine can come into play massively. You're having a 10-minute screen break, then move the body. You know, think about, okay, I've got 10 minutes. I've got to release some endorphins. I've got 10 minutes. I'm going to utilize what I've just seen, what I've just heard, and see what you see. Take from it what you want to take from it. Give it a go. See what you see. And I can assure you, you might feel a little bit stupid doing it for the first time, and you might get a few funny looks in the office if you do share an office. But I can assure you, they'll be buying in, you know, and they'll be seeing what you're doing, and they want to feel what you're doing as well. So maybe when you're not looking or when you've gone outside, they'll probably give it a quick bash as well. You know, so don't be worried what you look like either. But again, great if you've got your own office. So we move on to desk exercise then. As I say, I don't have long to be showing you demonstrations of these exercises, but adapt it where you can. And as I say, see what you see and just have a little bit of fun with it. And I think it's about playing around with movement of the body that you can have a bit of fun, laugh at yourself, you know, and if you can laugh at yourself, you know, whilst moving your body, releasing endorphins, then absolutely fantastic. Great. First one, utilizing your desk. Some of us have got desks that can raise in height. Some of you have got static desks. All I'll say to you is make sure that your desk is secured just before you put your body weight on it. Just make sure it's not going to topple over on you, just for health and safety, just before you get anybody saying you need to complete a risk assessment for that. So just make sure that your desk is nice and secure and it can hold your body weight as well. So just doing a few tricep dips, the back of the arms, and just squatting down, moving down nice and low, and then coming back up, an extension of the arms. And again, adapt the exercises. You can progress it, you can regress it. So if it's too easy for you, you can make it a little bit harder by going down that a little bit lower. Make your desk a little bit lower on that, and just go a little bit lower in the range of movement. And again, you can regress it. If it's too hard, just go down that just a little bit lower and just increase the range of movement. Exercise 2 then, seated torso twist, using that chair, just rotating the spine. We've been sitting sedentary 8 hours, 9 hours, looking at a computer screen, moving the body side to side, waking the body up, rotating the torso, working the obliques either side. Progression, you could put some weight in your hands, even taking some small dumbbells to work, keeping them in your bag, and getting them out, on your little break or lunch break or quick 10-minute break. Get your little dumbbells out and just do some torso twists. Next one, arm curls, water bottles. I'm sure we all carry water bottles around now. Okay, water is absolutely fantastic for weight loss, and we all know the importance of water as well to keep the mind healthy. So just doing some bicep curls, progression, heavier water bottle, a regression, just do some arm curls with some lighter objects. Seated torso crunches, again using the chair. One thing I would advise is make sure your chair doesn't have wheels on this one. So as you're kicking out, if you do have wheels, you'll probably go from one side of the room to the other side.
That could be another activity in fairness, though, Mel.
Well, absolutely, yeah. And most definitely you will get some funny looks on that one. But just make sure that your chair is stationary, and all we're going to do now is just kick out with the legs and then bringing them back in, or the knees into the chest. Again, you can have this presentation, and if you need any further advice on any of these exercises, I'm happy to link in with a video on one-to-ones with people if they want as well, and I can give them demonstrations if they are struggling. It's absolutely fine. Chair squats, again using your chair, standing up, squatting down, making sure that your feet are shoulder width apart, engaging the core, driving through the heels, coming down, bum to the chair, and then standing back up again. You can repeat the repetitions. Again, I can go through all repetitions after the presentation, or at a convenient time for anybody that is interested in taking any of this away. Using a wall space now, called wall sits. For any of you who are ex-military amongst you, you'll know that this used to be called the stress position. For us, we used to lean against the back of the wall. This is fantastic for the quads, fantastic for the core as well, sucking in that belly button. You will most definitely feel this after the exercise. Holding that if you can, 15 seconds. Regression would just be holding it for less, and it's okay. 5 seconds, great, no problems at all. You're doing it, you're taking part. Again, using your chair again, standing behind it, Superman supine position, just stretching out, one leg out to the rear, one arm out in front of you, reaching out, having that nice stretch. Again, holding that for 30 seconds and just making sure you're doing it on both sides. Seated position, we can do this. 10-minute screen break, circling the arms forward. Okay, you're going to feel this right in the shoulders, okay, and in top of the neck, circling them forward, circling them backwards, keeping the arms nice and straight. Calf raises, I didn't even think of this, standing up. I often raise my desk into a high position. Standing up, I wouldn't have even given it a thought of just doing some calf raises, coming up onto the toes, coming back down, coming up on the toes and back down, and repeating that repetition. Again, you don't have to do that stationary. You can do that by doing high toe pokes, walking to the printer, walking to another colleague's desk, going for that chat, doing some exercises while you're doing that. Lunge jumps, I would advise making sure you've got some space in the office for this. But again, if you've got a few fragile items on your desk as well, depending on what building you're in, I would probably leave the jump off, but just do some lunging. Again, you can lunge walk to the printer, lunge walk to your colleague's desk. There is no excuse why we're not utilising even a small space. We can just do one lunge walk out, one lunge walk back, even if you're just desk width apart. Why not utilise it? Again, making sure you've got some space. Regression is no jump, just lunge, and just making sure that you're keeping stable on your feet. If you need a progression, just go slightly deeper. You can keeping that jump in as well, but making sure that you've got good form and good tempo whilst you're doing it. Loads of other exercises that you can do, ladies and gents, within the office working space. Using a gym ball as a chair. Get rid of the chair. You know, if you're struggling with backaches and back injuries, try a fit ball. Try, you know, one of the huge big balls, blow it up, sit on it. It's fantastic for core. It's fantastic for developing strength within the core. Sitting on that gym ball whilst you're working as well. So yeah, get rid of the chair. Jogging on the spot. Again, got a couple of minutes. Why not jog on the spot? Lunge and walk. Wall press ups, using the wall. We've seen this on social media. It's a big thing at the moment. Okay, utilizing the wall for exercises. You can do press ups on the wall, or even doing some press ups on your desks. You know, taking that break, moving some space onto your desk and start doing a few body press ups. Rolling wheelchair ab crunches. This is slightly difficult, certainly if you don't have the space. Placing your feet onto the chair and then just bring your knees into the chest, just doing some crunch sit-ups. Bit of a more advanced exercise, hence why I've not shown a little funny clip there. Leg lockouts, just standing up, touching your toes, you know, keeping mobile. Mobility and flexibility is key. You're still releasing endorphins. Mobility and flexibility, you're sitting there sedentary. You need to move the body. Moving the body, working the bum. The bum is the biggest muscle in the body. If you can do some squats, you know, you're burning more calories. Work the biggest muscle of the body, you're burning more calories. It's a winner. You know, moving the body around the office space, you're releasing endorphins. We all know about the 10,000 step, you know, the 10,000 step challenge that is out there as well. You know, what a great way. Work with friends, link in. Apple Watches, they link in. You can challenge each other for steps. You know, there's other things that you can do even in the office space. Link in with your Apple Watches if you've got Apple or whatever your smart device may be, and use these challenges that are on all these smart watch devices. Just a quick disclaimer then, ladies and gents, although these exercises are great to keep you active whilst in the workplace, I am not a medical expert, so adapt the exercises as required. So if you have got injuries, then please take some medical advice before you know, moving your body or working your body in a physical capacity. So all fitness and health and safety should be given to you by your doctor. And that's me. That's me wrapped up. So are there any questions?
No, I think there's a problem with people getting questions through. So we've got somebody called Mark Butcher from Sussex that really had a question for Mel. I'm going to. What do you think you can go with that? I'm going to say, can we go try and bring on? Hang on.
We bring Mark in.
I can bring Mark in. Just stand by.
We're giving it a try, Mark. Hang in there if you're there. I think people are having issues with typing questions in, so we might just need you to put your hand up. But while we're working out whether we can get Mark in, Mel, brilliant. And you know what? I can foresee lots of different opportunities here. Groups getting together and telling the line manager that at 11:30 we're doing this for 10 minutes. Just, you know, we're all going to do it as a group. Lots of opportunity to just put it into the daily routine yourself or use your colleagues around you, because we're all doing the same things, aren't we? Realistically.
Absolutely.
Hello.
Oh, here we go. Is that Mark?
It's Mark calling. I have the votes of Sussex.
It's like 0-12 on Eurovision.
No, it's a definite 12 for this.
Yeah. Oh, love that. Love it. Mark, what's your question?
Well, I sustained a couple of injuries over the years, knee and back. And I have done the couch to 4K on a treadmill a couple of times now. And when it gets, like my injury sort of flares up, I get knocked out of it. And I've been knocked out of it for the longest that I've been. And I'm starting it again for the fourth time today. And I have never felt any endorphins. I've spoken to people who run and they say, oh, it's amazing. You finish it, you feel so energized. And I don't. I can't discern. Obviously, I was fitter when I did it, But I discernibly no difference whatsoever, which doesn't add to the fact that I probably don't like running, but I do it because I desperately need to lose weight, as tons has gone back on since the last time I was doing it,
I think
which affects other health issues.
I think you've answered it yourself there, Mark. You said there that you don't particularly like running. Maybe the other individuals love running and probably getting that euphoric sensation, that euphoric feeling of, wow, they've just ran because they love running. Endorphins is a chemical that's released, within the body. Do I feel endorphins being released into my body? No, I don't. I do know that I do feel better for it. I know I sleep better. My mental capacity is a lot better. I'm quicker at thinking. So there is other things that you will gain from that endorphin release, not necessarily, wow, that was amazing and I felt that straight away. That's probably somebody with a passion for that activity. I think if you're coming back from an injury and you're starting doing it, my advice would be to you just ensure that you're wearing good footwear, making sure that that injury doesn't come back, eating right as well to maintain good health and good nutrition for the bones and for the body. Hydration is going to be absolute key for you, and as I say, don't be disappointed that you're not feeling what other people are feeling, and if you're gaining in other ways, whether you're sharper within your mind and the way that you're thinking, if you're sleeping better, again, people will experience different things.
Okay. So I thought it was sort of linked to the running or the exercise, I should say, rather than your love for that exercise or not. But don't worry, I went to the shop and I asked for a pair of shoes for a fat middle-aged man who wants to start running, and they got me some.
I think, for anybody doing any activity, from experience, I'm also a sports injury therapist. Don't look for footwear that's, I love pink, I love blue, so I'm going to get it because the trainers are blue. I'm going to get it because they're pink. Going to a reputable running shop to check out your gait analysis, getting that checked, making sure that you've got the correct footwear, whether you pronate, whether you supinate, and that means rolling in or rolling out with your feet. Prevention is better than a cure. If you're doing these activities, we don't want to sustain an injury. We don't want to start something that we can't finish, and we don't want to start something that potentially we can't get back on because we've gained an injury by doing it. So, looking after ourselves whilst doing activity, again, is key. It's, we don't buy the trainers that are on offer because they're cheap. Wow, I've got these cheap. Fantastic. I'm going to go and do 10 miles running in them. As I say, going back to the car analysis, would you put cheap fuel in a Lamborghini, in a Porsche, whatever your favorite car is? It could be a Polo, it could be your favorite car, but you wouldn't abuse it necessarily. It was your favorite thing, it was your dream thing that you've wanted. You would service it regularly, and doing the same with your body. You're worth far more than any materialistic thing out there. So investing, I'm not saying go and buy the most expensive pair of trainers either. What I'm saying is just make sure you invest in the correct equipment.
Thanks, Mark. Mark, honestly, I think if you get the details at the end of the session, I'm sure Mel will carry on this conversation and help support you. Might not be that running's your thing, it certainly isn't mine. So I'm with you on that one. It makes it 10 times flipping harder when you don't want to do it in the first place. So I'm completely with you. Just coming back on, because time has overtaken us and I don't want to cause you to be sat sedentary in front of us for too long. We had one question earlier in regards to what jobs, forces and employers can do. What we found as wellbeing leads in policing, and this could be the same for any employer, if I'm brutally honest, is we've took to our chief constables and to employers that realistically there is that contract, both not only personally, but with the employer and the employer's duty to support your health and well-being whilst in the workplace. So I almost translate that to say what we've seen with some really positive chiefs is they've ensured an ability that all of their staff can actually utilise any overlap time between shifts, any rest periods, or times when they don't have to necessarily be tied to the screen, that they can utilise that to do fitness and exercise. We've got forces that have agreed the ability for police officers to go and use the on-site gyms within that changeover period, if you've got them in your shift patterns, and certainly for staff, the equivalent again, to be able to use the last half hour or hour of the shift to be able to do that also. I'm not saying it's consistent across all forces, it's not a national thing, but we're certainly encouraging chiefs and employers to see the benefits, because a healthy you and a happy you means a you that's going to come to work and perform the best of your abilities. So they're seeing that responsibility. We can help you off screen, email us, get in touch with us with any links in with that if you want to have those conversations with your employers and with your chiefs, and we can certainly set you in the right directions of how to continue to have those conversations. But we are starting to see that because under the wellbeing, the wellbeing banner, people are recognising and employers are recognising there is a duty there. Okay, not to just keep you chained to the desk or chained to the police car constantly in and out all day and not thinking about your health and well-being in the working day.
I think it's all about education, and I think it's all about having that understanding that individual is going to be less on the sick, that individual is less likely to go on the sick, that individual is less likely to feel ill or injured if there is a balance. And it's all about that investment. That investment in that individual is going to give you that in return.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mel, thanks very much. What we will do now is move on because there's another important question we want to get to that's related to the campaign. But in summary, what we're saying is that anything is better than nothing. Raising the heart rate, getting those endorphins in or released, and any movement, especially when you get to the big 5 all like yourself, when bits start dropping off, you feel yourself. And any stretching, any movement at all can make a vast improvement to your own physical and mental health.
I think we're all squeezed for time, in a working environment. It's squeezed for time, fitting it in. Yes, little and often is better than nothing at all. And it's all about mobility, flexibility, short-term goals. Start with something fun. It might lead to something a little bit better, a little bit more adventurous, or a little bit meatier later on. You start in the workplace, 10-minute screen break, do something. Don't look for that excuse because you'd rather put yourself to the back burner just to do the cleaning, whatever needs to come first. It's not about looking for that excuse. Invest in yourself. And if you can do something at your desk on a 10-minute screen break, why not?
Exactly. Mel, thank you so much. And I know you've got to shoot off because you need to take the dog to the vet.
We've
run over a little bit, so I do understand if people do have to leave us. But what we do want to do is just literally wrap up with the next part of our question, which is what next? So as we explained to you, the start of our campaign is absolutely, you'll see the social media, you'll see all the different videos of people with the Ask Twice logo and why it's important to ask twice. That is the start of our campaign. We've ultimately got a lovely image that's going to go out. If anyone's seen Love Actually and loves the image at the end where all the people come in really closely and are all on like a mirage, we're going to be releasing that over the next couple of days too with the different people that have got behind the Ask Twice campaign. So please get behind it. The second part to it is absolutely, as we said, about our website. Now, our website will take you to the resources that are there if you need them for yourself, if you're within the policing framework, or if you are trying to support and help somebody else. But the question quite aptly has come in there, what if someone's in crisis? Now, what the website will take you to straight away is if you're in immediate crisis, so we're talking you're feeling suicidal and this day is the day that perhaps you or someone you're talking to is saying that they might want to try and take their own life, then you need immediate help. That will immediately, if you were to press or click on that site, would take you to 999 or the Samaritans. But of course, you would be advising someone to seek 999 support immediately in that instance. That's not what this website is to support with, of course. This is more slow time resource, slow time third-party help that can be out there to help people in how they're feeling. So that's why that question is such a crucial one for us to get across. You're going to see this build, aren't you, Paul? This is the start, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not going away.
There's going to be a massive education coming your way, and it's your campaign as much as ours, and what we want is your interaction, because as you'll see, the resources that we're dishing out in this campaign are bespoke to certain branches and certain forces. And what we'd like you to do is feedback what resources that you have to us that might be worth attaching to this website. So it's access for yourself, for your members, but for those representing the members and those caring for the carers as well. And that question itself about the immediate crisis, it's absolutely crucial. And having been there myself, in the sense of representing somebody who has entered immediate crisis, there's nothing more frightening than seeing that person that needs immediate help. So it's really important to know what to do, to know how to access the crisis team, how to manage that person who is in extreme fear and stress, and coming to a point where things are what we would define as a medical emergency. So we are going to start delving into and digging deeper into educating around things that do affect mental health, spotting the signs, recognising when someone is not just in crisis but is starting to show signs of mental deterioration, and tools for intervention, and actually managing and assisting those members throughout what is a very difficult time in their life, because 35-year career now, let's be realistic, the amount of trauma that you're subject to, nobody's going to walk through this career without any kind of mental health issues whatsoever. It's going to become more and more apparent. There's more cops losing their lives. It's a silent killer. It's killing our cops, and we've got to do something to intervene. So the message asked twice is a vital message. It's going to save a life, doubtless.
So we've took up more than we said of your time. I want to say thank you so much for your attention. We value your feedback. If you can get into the chat bar and you can fill in the polls. There was one at the very start of the webinar. There's one being posted for you now. We really appreciate if you could give us that information back. And if you've got any further comments or any queries or comments, please get in touch with us. We can, of course, share our email addresses on there so that you can get back in touch. And if you want any resources, the resources you're seeing on screen, the actual posters with hashtag Ask Twice, we're also going to have some stickers that you can send. We're going to send out to our branches. So if you are part of a Federation branch, they're going to be coming out to you. Get them shared as widely as you can, because ultimately there's nothing negative here. We want this to get as far as wide as we can so we can just help anybody. And that is our main goal, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, that's our message. Help as many people as possible, not just cops, staff as well. Anybody who needs help, that's who we'll embrace and we'll take on and we'll help as best we can.
So we're 15 minutes over, sorry, but before we just close up, I've just seen a hand go up. Can you get to that hand? It's Nikki.
Can you bring Nikki in, Lisa?
We're trying, Nikki. We'll get there, I'm sure. Oh, what's going on?
Very happy. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we've got you, Nikki.
Brilliant. I'm just speaking, I would imagine, on behalf of everybody else on the call, because I have not had the ability to enter into any chat or poll throughout any part of the call. So I wonder if you'd be able to follow something up by email to enable us all to, provide comment or get those resources. It seems such a shame with all the good work that you're doing that we're unable to give you anything back. So
yeah, no, Nikki,
if that's okay, that would be wonderful.
Brilliant, that's excellent. Yes, we absolutely are. So everybody, we will send this out by email so you can feed back to us. Absolutely, really appreciate that, Nikki. I'm not sure what quite's gone on with the chat, but we'll definitely email that out. And there's going to be more of these, okay? And if you've got ideas of what the other topics should be, as I said, we're looking at financial, we're looking at general, we're looking at physical, we're looking at mental health. So please, any ideas and anyone you think would be positive and beneficial to bring to a wider network, let us know, because we want this campaign to build and we want it to keep going. So thank you so much for all your attendance. We really appreciate it. It's been lovely to have you all behind the screen. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll let you get back to your day. And I hope at some point, sitting on a chair and doing 1 or 2 of those exercises.
Thanks very much, all. Thanks for coming. Take care now.
Take care, all. Bye.